If you're going to watch one video today, make this the one. Why? Because, if you're a contractor just starting out, then you got to listen today because it's going to make either mean success to you or not. And if you're not going to listen, then go work for another contractor. You'll probably have more time in your hands anyway. Hell, you probably make more money. But if you think you can do this, then listen up. Because I'm telling you, there's some things today we're going to talk about. 4 lessons I've learned to be a contractor and be the best contractor you can be. A few years ago, I hit a point in my life where my business was running me. And I learned the hard ways. I got sick, all that good stuff, damn near died, and had some time to reflect and talk about the things that make a difference to me. What is that? How can you make that happen? What are the things that can shift you to become that better contractor? And I come up with a couple of different lessons. And as you're sitting in that hospital bed, like I was, the first thing kind of come to mind is you got to rediscover your why. Why are you doing this? And at first I started out thinking, well, my why was to, take care of my family. And it's true. And it's still that why today. But sometimes I forget about the family. Not as much as I used to, and I don't anymore. But don't forget about the family. That's why you're there. Because at the end of the day, if you lost everything, your family's still going to be there. So what's that mean? Ask yourself 5 whys. And that's a Japanese thing that they did in Toyota. You identify a why, and you ask yourself why 5 times, and the 5th why you identify down to the deep soul what's going on. And my 5th why was I love my family. I want my wife to retire. I want my children to know me and see me, spend time with me. And that sounds selfish, but it's your why. So it is selfish. Well, Chris, I'm not there. The good news is you can restructure this to make it happen. Look at what's taking up your why. Identify the why, re-identify it, whatever it is, and then figure out what's keeping you back. Lesson number 2, protect your energy. If you don't have that why, you don't have to get up and go. You got to know why. And that why will energize you. You got to protect your energy because your life depends on it. And it does. It sets your mood. It sets your mood for the team. People can feel what you're thinking. I used to say, well, what do you mean? And my wife said, I haven't lived with you this long. I know. Well, your people that work with you this long, they know. They know if you're mad. They know if I'm mad. They know if I'm happy. So, and you probably heard this, you got to fake it till you make it. That's right. Even though you want to say something, even though you bite your tongue, you sit back and reflect on what's going on. And you realize that, sometimes it's just because they didn't understand, because you didn't explain yourself. You didn't train them because you didn't do it, or you got the wrong person in the place. You have to identify what it is that keeps you going, that doesn't frustrate you. Keep a very powerful, positive mindset. That's very important. Well, how else do you do that? Well, you got to plan for recovery. Will it be the weekends? Will it be vacation? I'm a homebody. I don't particularly like vacations. Now, my wife does, and I go with her on those vacations. But that's just me. But my recovery is the weekends and nights. When you go home, you got to turn it off. And I tell you, that's hard to do. Whatever it is, but turn the phone off. Turn it on do not disturb, whatever it is, but you got to plan for your recovery. I remember once I went on vacation. It was a weekend vacation thing, actually during the week. And we went to the zoo. And St. Louis is only about 2 hours from here. And went to the zoo. And I was on the phone more than I was spending time with the family. And I could see that glare from my wife every now and then, like, get off the phone. Get off the phone. Was I recovering? Hell no, I wasn't recovering. I was at work, just on the phone. So I had to teach myself not to do that. Well, how do you do that? Otherwise, you got people that you're responsible for, people that are here that are working when you're not. I love asking people when they call sometimes, well, what would you do if I wasn't here? Well, I do this. Okay, then go do it. You do enough of that, they're going to take care of that for you because they know that you've given them the okay. Yep, that's what I do. Make it happen. And if you happen to find something that they would do differently, tell them what you do and why. And sometimes they'll explain to you why they think what's right, and you'll change your mind. Lesson number 3, get out of survival mode. That phone rings, you jump. Crews call, you run. Clients call and you panic. You ever see those phone calls and you're like, oh, hell, what are they calling about now? Well, sometimes if you got the right people in place, you don't have to worry about that. Sometimes they call and tell you good things. But the fact is you're dependent on that phone. You're dependent on everything that's not important. And I say that not important in the fact that you're the CEO of your company and you got to focus on the things that are important. Is that client call important? Yes. Is it necessary for you to take it? No. Find somebody to take those responsibilities, people that do it very well. Your job is to grow your company. Grow it wisely. Use the time to your advantage. Focus on just what you need to make your business grow, and focus on what your people need to help that business grow. If there's nothing else you're going to hear from this video, man, and you're just starting out, you got to know your numbers. You got to know your sales price. You got to know your cost, your labor cost, your material cost, your overhead. That overhead comes and gets you and bites you in the ass every time if you ain't paying attention. You got to have that built in. You got to know your profit. Well, Chris, I'm not very good at numbers. Okay. We can simplify those things with KPIs or key performance indicators. It's something quick and easy to look at. You know if it's good or bad or indifferent. If you can, the Price is Right when Bob Barker goes higher, higher, lower, lower. If you can do that, you can do KPIs. But you also got to get somebody to talk to about your numbers. You got to talk to an accountant. You got to talk to your people inside, whoever it is, your bookkeeper. Somebody's got to understand them. And if it's not you, then you need to get somebody to talk to you about it, to explain it to you. And then you have to give them the authority or somebody else the authority to make some changes. So those numbers mean a profit at the end of the day. No profit, no vacation, no why, no anything. You got to have a profit at the end of the day to go anywhere. And finally, you got to stop doing everything yourself. My gosh, you can't do it all. You don't want to do it all. Well, nobody else can do it. Bullshit. They can do it. I wrote this down in my notes here, and it says delegate and train. And I'm going to make a change to that. You got to train or you got to hire first before you delegate. Delegate just means you give it to somebody. Well, if you give it to somebody who don't know what they're doing, then that's just defeating your purpose. Hell, it probably causes a bigger problem than you would have. Or hire somebody that knows what they're doing or even knows it better than you, and then give them that responsibility. Make sure they like doing that type of stuff. There's 4 personality traits, and we won't get into that right now, but make sure that personality trait fits the type of work you're giving them. The fact that you're an owner means that you're up here in the upper left-hand corner, the quadrant. There's 3 other personality types. Find the personality type that fits that. There's accountants, there's salespeople, there's CEOs, and there's the 4th one. I wouldn't call them the squiggly line, as I think they call them, and it's more of a person that can see the opposite of you, and they're just as important as you are because sometimes they'll see stuff that you can't see yourself. So to summarize, you got to shift. You got to shift from exhaustion to intention. You got to stop reacting and start planning. Plan your profit, plan your day, plan your team, plan your sales. You got to shift from chaos to clarity. Be clear about what you want, why you want it, who you're doing it for. I mentioned family earlier, but you got another family you got to think about. That's your team. They're your family. You're bringing in-house. They're relying on you to support their whys. Think about that for a while. Imagine what it'd feel like if you had all that stuff taken care of. You had people underneath you taking care of your stuff. You understood and you planned on your sales and you planned on your profit based on those sales. You should have an idea. And damn, what a good feeling it is to go through that 30 days, get that income statement, and I'll be damned if you make more money than you thought. Mm-hmm. So, if you need help on that, if you want somebody to talk about numbers, you want to talk about hiring, delegating, all that good stuff, reach down below, click the old link there, get a free consultation with me. I enjoyed talking about all this stuff. Love to talk about yours in particular. Also, if you're looking for some motivational information, inspiration, just reach out or have a question that you want to talk to somebody else about. Somebody else experienced it. Join our Facebook group, Hard-Headed CEO. I'm glad you stayed through this video. If this is the only video you watch today, I hope it was a great one. You guys, I'll see you next week. God be with you till we meet again. This is Chris G signing out. Have a good day.